Hey guys, so I checked my email today and I found out that I got another offer at this site, this clinical site where I can do my practicum. You guys know I'm in my second year of a PhD program in clinical psychology, and I'm like, wow, two offers. Isn't this amazing? Now, first of all, you guys, for you guys who aren't aware, PhD students who are in psychology, studying psychology, become clinical psychologists, we have to go through this match process called rounds, right? So they have first rounds, they have second rounds if you don't get matched during first rounds, which unfortunately, I don't know why, but I didn't get matched during my first rounds, although I did get an offer like of a job, a paid job, which is kind of weird because usually these sites, like these placements, aren't paid. So I got a paid offer during the first rounds, which made no sense, even though I interviewed for a non-paid position. And then during second rounds, because I didn't get matched per se during first rounds for a practicum or, the traditional practicum position, I had to go to second rounds, and I interviewed at two places, and I got offered a position at, actually I interviewed at three places. I got offered a position at two out of the three places. So I'm like, wow, you guys, I have two offers now on the table. And I have basically a few days. I don't have that long to decide which place I want to work at. So I'm thinking about, I don't know, it's really hard. And what do you guys think? Feel free to comment below. But one of the sites, I'm going to just kind of give you guys a brief overview. One of the sites is working with African American adults who are more high functioning, doing individual and group therapy. And the other one is working with Native Americans, also adults who are kind of, I guess, mild to moderate functioning, or I guess you can say high functioning, especially compared to the population I work with now, because the group of clients I see now are adults with intellectual disabilities and severe mental illness, so they are more on the lower end of the spectrum in terms of functioning and cognitive capacity. So it's kind of a difficult choice, you guys. It's crazy, but today is Friday. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. It's a beautiful day outside. I just finished with my practicum at my practicum site today, and it's just been a lot going on, like in the media and the news and stuff like that. It's crazy. Like I just shared a video on my page about this girl. She's a very, very young African American girl who was having a temper tantrum in class, and I don't know who posted the video, but apparently her teacher recorded the video of her acting out, which I felt was really inappropriate. It's a violation, actually, of her educational rights, her privacy. And it was recorded by the teacher, and apparently is circulating on social media now. So everybody is able to see this girl kind of lose control and act out. She's tossing over things in the classroom, flipping over stuff. She's snatching things off of the wall. She lost it, and she looks like she's probably in kindergarten or preschool age, right? And I shared my opinion on it, where am I? I am in Hollywood, California. And I basically shared my opinion on the video, saying that I think that the teacher should be fired and sued, right? Because I think it's just inappropriate. I mean, when did we get to the point where we allow teachers to record students in classrooms? Like, when did this become a trend? That's very inappropriate. That's just like a therapist or psychologist recording a session and then posting it on social media. That's very inappropriate. Yes, this behavior is of concern and it's something that should be brought to the parents' attention, but it's not something that you should post on social media for the world to see. And so some people commented saying that, it wasn't the teacher who posted the video, but it was actually the child's parent who posted the video onto social media saying, look what my baby girl did today in school. And I just think it's so unfortunate, because I think most, especially African Americans, are quick to kind of jump to conclusions and say, oh, that child needs to be beaten. That child just needs to be beaten. It's like beating a child is not the solution to every problem. When we see kids acting out, when we see acting out behavior, that's not necessarily the solution. And just because you see behavioral problems like that, where kids are, flipping out in the classroom or talking back or disrespecting authority, it goes deeper than that, you guys. I want you guys to kind of look at it from more of an objective standpoint of view. Look at it that it could be some deficits that the child is experiencing cognitively, like who knows what's going on in her brain, right? And it helps to get a full, well-rounded picture. And so people are commenting, and I have to pretty much wrap this video. It's interesting to see the comments because some people are commenting saying, "Oh, do you have kids? You know, who are you to be an authority on this?" I'm like, first of all, I don't have kids, but I have worked many years. I have a lot of experience, extensive experience in this field since back 2004. So we're talking about over 15 years of experience in working with different populations, children, adolescents, adults, with varying levels of functioning and ability. So it's not that I'm not aware of what's happening. I'm not exposed to these kinds of behaviors, and I don't know anything about working with children with who have these special abilities or inabilities. I have lots of experience. Like I said, my current practicum is working with adults with intellectual disabilities. So yes, I know what it's like in working with children and adults, in special education. But that's beyond the matter. I think, that has nothing to do with it. The issue here is that this girl, obviously has behavioral problems, which could be basically an expression, an outward expression of something that's going on within her psyche that needs to be addressed. It's not just a quick band-aid that you can put on it and say, oh, we just need to beat this child, take her home and beat her. And it's like, who's to say she isn't already getting beaten at home? So using physical aggression as a solution to behavioral problems is not necessarily the answer. Yes, there are ways you can discipline a child, but beating a child, how we were disciplined, growing up, is not necessarily the solution. So don't come attacking me, you guys, because I have a different perspective on this. And I think my perspective really stems from the idea of protecting her rights and her safety, protecting the rights and safety of the child. Not only that, but the parent, because it's kind of sad that the parent herself will post, basically make a laughing stock of her child like that, a public laughing stock of her child like that on social media. Knowing that video is going to go viral, so millions of people have seen the video, and she's saying, oh, look at what my baby did in school, and not knowing that people are really attacking her and her child. When we're talking about, this is a really sensitive issue here. It's a personal issue that she is dealing with, and people are quick to jump to conclusions and say, oh, well, something is wrong with the parenting. And you can't do that. My response was that I think that this child needs to be evaluated. Apparently, it's not I think, but apparently this child needs to be evaluated to see what's going on with the child. Could be something that beatings and corporal punishment cannot fix, So it actually could make the problem worse. And so that's all I have to say on that issue. I find it quite ironic, though, people jump to conclusions like, oh, you never work with special ed kids. It's like, come on. I've been working with all kinds of clients, and especially foster care kids who have cognitive difficulties and deficits. And I've seen all kinds of behaviors, children acting out. Like, I worked in very secure lockdown facilities. You get what I'm saying? Where kids have been placed because they don't have a permanent home. They don't have a family. So they have to live in this residential facility under the care of staff. I've worked in facilities like that and treated clients, who have those emotional difficulties and cognitive difficulties. And like I said, the solution is not just putting your hands on a child and beating a child. Yes, she obviously needs to be disciplined, but there are ways that you can correct behavior without physically beating a child, because that doesn't necessarily always solve the problem. If anything, it makes it worse, And then we have this thing with Bill Cosby, and I thought about it. I thought about, should I really address this issue with Bill Cosby on video, or should I just say, you know what, I'll leave it up. I'll leave it up to social media. I have shared some of my. It's a nice dog. I've shared some of my, opinions on it. I've created some posts about it. You guys can go back and watch what I think. But I just think that, this it's a hoax. I feel like it doesn't make any sense. There's something fishy about that story, That's why I don't buy into it. Something doesn't make sense. It just doesn't sound right. The whole thing about these women coming after him many years later after the incident has happened, and they're all crying and I was like, stop it, y'all. Just stop it, just stop it. They make it very difficult for people to believe them, with it being so many years after the quote unquote sexual assault. You know, of course, that's something very serious, and that's the reason why I think a lot of African Americans are taking offense to it, because they're like, wait a minute. How in the world are you going to say such a thing? You know, you can't play with a person's livelihood. You know, they're playing with this man's life, you know, trying to send him to jail. Well, they've pretty much done it. They succeeded at doing it, because they say that he was found guilty. And what people fail to realize is that, yes, a person will plead guilty under pressure. You know, that's the whole point of cross-examination. When people are under pressure, they give in and say, you know what, fuck it. If it's easier to say I did it, I'll say I did it, you know, just to go ahead and move the case along and to, you know, end the case. I don't think that he did it, though. Doesn't make sense. And then that many women, I heard it's like many women. But anyway, I'll make probably, if I do talk about it, I'll probably come back and make a whole nother video on that topic, you know, specifically, but I don't know if I should. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that. But as far as, yes, my 2 offers, I'm like, I don't know, you guys. Should I choose this site where I'm working with African Americans, or should I choose a site where I'm working with Native Americans? I always said my target audience, my target clinical population is African American or African American. So chances are I'm going to choose the offer with the site working with African Americans. But I'm feeling good, y'all. I'm feeling good about the rest of the program. I have 2 weeks left. 2 weeks left of the semester, and I'll be done. I'm looking at my assessment comp exam that I have to take in a couple weeks, and I have a report, and I'm finishing up for my assessment class and my research study, you guys. For research prac, I'm trying to fight hard to get these participants to sign up for my study, but we shall see how that goes. Thank you guys for tuning in. I can't believe how fast time goes by. It's just amazing. It's amazing, you guys. But anyways, have a good weekend. Have a good day, you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next vlog. Bye-bye.